Hello, candle lovers! Thank you so much for tuning in to me today. My name is Greg, and this is all Aboot candles. I'm coming at you this week from my hotel room in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. I did bring a couple of candles with me to review, one of them being Acorn Lane from Bath and Body Works. I just finished burning this one last night. Sorry guys, I do apologize for the lighting situation that I find myself in sometimes when I'm recording these videos from the hotel. This is just the best I can do. I thought that the packaging on Acorn Lane was alright. This collection really didn't thrill me visually. Something about it just seemed kind of muted and it didn't have a whole bunch of pop, but Bath and Body Works was giving us a camping moment this fall with this collection and with another collection that came out that was all repackages. That other collection, it had backyard honeysuckle, which I thought was odd, an iced dragon fruit tea, which was even weirder, and then it had like campfire cocoa, which was a repackage of hot cocoa and cream, and then there was mountainside mist, which is a repackage of summer rain. Of course, this sucker bought both of them anyways, and you know, it is what it is. Bath and Body Works has given us a camping moment, as well as with this collection. And Acorn Lane, I actually really ended up liking this fragrance, and I didn't think I would because it is a very like cinnamon heavy fragrance, and cinnamon is just not one of my favorite scent notes. And honestly, the cinnamon, it does get a little bit into like red hot cinnamon territory, but not 100%. The scent notes on it are autumn leaves, warm cinnamon, and crisp gala apples. And so all that really leaves us with cinnamon and apples. And to be honest with you, all I really do pick up from this fragrance are the cinnamon and the apple notes, and also possibly something that is just a little bit citrusy in like the top of the fragrance. This is pretty straightforward. I wouldn't say it's an incredibly well-balanced fragrance. I do think it leans quite heavily into the cinnamon component here, but the apple note in here I think is quite nice because it's not too sweet. I'd say that it's kind of like a semi-sweet apple, and I feel like it's a little bit more of like a dried apple situation than it is like a fresh, crisp, juicy apple note. There's a little bit of a dryness to the fragrance, which I think is part of what brings that kind of autumn, fall, crispy leaf type of feel to it. Considering I'm not a huge fan of cinnamon fragrances or apple fragrances, I can't really tell you why I ended up enjoying this candle as much as I did. Maybe because I don't burn a lot of cinnamon or apple fragrances that I like. It catches me by surprise a little bit when I come across a candle like this that I did actually enjoy. I mean, I really don't have much to delve into this candle fragrance wise. This candle hasn't been out for a really long time. I do remember it coming out before. That was before I was really into candles the way I am now, but I know a lot of people were very excited to see that this fragrance came back. We were talking about it in the comment section, and I can understand why that is, because even though it is a fairly typical like cinnamon and apple fall fragrance, it's a good candle that performed quite well. I burned this all the way down until there was nothing left and I could see the wick nickels there. I would say that there were one or two burns where it wasn't like full blown like dudding out like itty bitty wicks and teeny tiny flames. It wasn't that bad, but there were definitely some burns on it that weren't very strong. However, I don't think that those burns really affected the performance of the candle that badly, because this is a fragrance that should be fairly easy to project. That sort of high top kind of cinnamony note, you know, a cinnamon candle that doesn't have good strength and throw, there's just no excuse for that. Last week I actually did a review of cinnamon sugared coffee cake from Bath and Body Works, and I like this candle way more than cinnamon sugared coffee cake, but that cinnamon note really does permeate and it lingers. I mean, I lit this candle one day in my more open space, and I'd say that in my more open space it was getting up to like a 6.5 or a 7, which is pretty good. Once again, when it's burning, all you're really picking up on is cinnamon and apples, but it was nice. It was nicely done. There was a little bit of nuance to the fragrance that I enjoyed. And yeah, in my more open area, it was getting up to almost a 7, I'd say. But what happened was we blew out the candle and left the house for a couple of hours. We went for a walk or whatever, came back like 2 or 3 hours later and walked in, and I could still smell the cinnamon. Like, the fragrance really permeates and lingers. And when I was burning it in smaller spaces like my bedroom or this hotel room last night, it was easily getting up to like a 7 or a 7.5. I went out for my meetings and everything today, came back to the hotel room at like 3:30, 4 o'clock. I could still smell the cinnamon in this hotel room. So I wouldn't recommend this candle if you don't want like a strong cinnamon presence in your environment, but good strength and throw, a reasonably well done fragrance, and I can understand what all the fuss is about and why people were so excited to get this back, because even though it's definitely not, in my opinion, like a super groundbreaking or brilliant fragrance, it's a good candle. It's a good candle, and it doesn't hit you so hard that you just never want to smell cinnamon again. Do you know what I mean? Would I repurchase this? Probably, maybe, not in the immediate future, but I would consider giving it another go. Would I recommend this candle? Yeah, I have no reason to not recommend it, as long as this is the type of fragrance that is up your alley, a really sort of straightforward cinnamon apple fall fragrance. I have no reason not to recommend this candle. It did pretty well. Anyways, that's all I've got for you today, folks. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate it. You can follow me on Instagram at allaboutcandles and email those burning questions to allaboutcandles@gmail.com. If you could hit me up with a like, comment, subscribe to my channel, that would really mean the world to me. And until next time, my dear, gorgeous, and beautiful candle-loving friends, let's burn some candles and bitch about it. Thanks, you guys. Bye for now.